are born Muslim. So if a Muslim couple raises their child as a Christian, that baby will be killed. And if a Muslim couple converts to Christianity, they will be killed, and it will be assumed that the baby has left the religion, and the baby will be killed. Finally, the Quran states, O Prophet Muhammad, strive hard against the disbelievers and the hypocrites. And the Islamic State prosecutes Muslims acting hypocritical by not following the Quran literally. Now, this is what we open the show with each and every week. I told you, all those killings that I read are Muslims killing Muslims. They are being told this by the Quran. They are not the radical Muslims. They are not misunderstanding the Quran. They are being told in the Quran, strive hard against the disbelievers and the hypocrites. They are being told to kill non-believers and those that don't follow the Quran. So all those people getting killed when the show opens, the hundreds and hundreds every week, are being killed for not taking a 2,000-year-old text literally. And the World Health Organization released a report this week. Over 1 million people have been killed during Syria's civil war. 1 million people since 2011. In 3 years, that's about 330,000 people a year. A plunge in vaccination rates from 90% the year before the war to 50% this year, and contaminated water have added to the woes, allowing typhoid and hepatitis to advance. More than 200,000 people have been killed in Syria's conflict. I'm sorry, I misread this earlier. Over 1 million people wounded with diseases spreading. 1 million people wounded, and 200,000 people have been killed. In Syria, they have 1 million people injured as a direct result of the war. You can see it in the country when you travel. You see a lot of amputees. More than 6,500 cases of typhoid were reported across Syria this year, and 4,200 cases of measles, which is the deadliest disease for Syrian children. ISIS is now cashing in on human organ trafficking. So convert or we'll kill you. And when we do that, we will harvest your organs. And they can get $20,000 to $100,000 for organs, kidneys, livers, hearts, lungs. You could probably get $150,000 to $200,000 for a full set of working organs. So now that they've found this is a lucrative thing, you can expect more killings and more by beheading, I would think, than the bombs. Bombs don't leave you too much to harvest. Oh, Denmark. A new report released. The top 9 ethnic groups with the highest crime rate are Muslim. All 9 at the very top. You've got the Muslims from Lebanon, the Muslims from Yugoslavia, the Muslims from Pakistan, the Muslims from Morocco, the Muslims from Turkey, the Muslims from Somalia, the Muslims from Iran, and the Muslims from Iraq. Are you seeing a pattern here? Are you seeing it? Because Obama has just agreed to bring 75,000 Muslims from Syria into the United States in the next 5 years. This is the statistics. The top 9 ethnic groups in Denmark are all Muslims. We are going to see crime rates go through the roof. It's insane. 9 of the top 9. The next one down is finally hitting Denmark. And below that, there's the Vietnamese and Thailand, the Philippines. But 9 of the top 9 are all Muslims. They are not good people. They may act like it while they're few in numbers, but as their numbers grow, and if you don't believe me, if you dispute this, go to patriotradioshow.com. Listen to the show. It's right on the front page. Listen to Islam is Not a Religion. I've cut all the ads out of it. It's a straight shot. It's 40 minutes. Listen to Islam is Not a Religion. I explain why it's not a religion, and I explain why you should be afraid. Because those nice Muslims down the street, or that guy in the cubicle right down the hallway from you at work, they seem like nice Muslims. But when push comes to shove, they will be told to kill you or to set a bomb in a parking lot. And if they don't, they'll be read off on my casualty list as I open my show. Because they are told to kill all non-Muslims. And unless you convert, it is their job to kill you. They're just waiting till they get a big enough crowd to give them cover. Either cover or peer pressure to make them do it. Likely, they just like to sit in their cubicle and work or live down the street from you. But when the masses come in, where there are enough Muslims in the neighborhood, they will have to follow the Quran. They will have to kill non-believers. And you and I are on the list. My friends, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Missed something today, yesterday, last week? Check out our podcasts at www.kcaaradio.com. AM 1050 KCAA. We leave no listener behind.
Guardian of our constitutional republic, founder of PatriotRadio.net. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom O'Halloran.
Stuff your pockets while Rome is burning. I've got a feeling that the tide is turning. I am America. One voice, united we stand. I am America. One hope to heal our land. I will not give up on this fight. I will not fade into the night. I am America.
Welcome back. This is Jihad-On-America. I'm your host, Tom O'Halloran. I appreciate you being with me tonight. I know there's a lot of choices in radio, and I do appreciate it each and every time you tune in. Back to the UK, a lot of stories out of the UK this week. The police are on the lookout for a Muslim cleric who sexually assaulted a teen. He was actually hired by a businessman to teach his 2 daughters, 13 and 9, and a 7-year-old niece, verses from the Quran. So this businessman wants his children to be good Muslims, learn the verses of the Quran, hires a cleric to teach them. The victim's mother reportedly left to visit a relative in the hospital around 3 o'clock. When the man came home, he was alone with the children. The businessman's niece was sleeping in another room. In the midst of teaching them, he allegedly asked the teen girl where the mother was. The girl got a little scared by the approach and lied and said the mother was asleep in the next room. However, the teacher got upset. He knew that the mother had left and gone to the hospital. He handed a few rupees to the younger child and demanded that she go to the store and buy some chocolate, getting her out of the house. Then the teacher grabbed the teenager, pulled her into his lap and started kissing her. She screamed and got away. He ran into the kitchen, got a metal spatula, came back into the room and caught the girl, and he used the spatula to injure the girl's private parts. The suspect was thrown off, and he pushed the girl away. So traumatized by the attack was this girl that she's changed her behavior. Her face has become pale. She's listless and weary. Her mother's persistence for 5 days in finding out what was wrong with her before the girl finally came out and revealed what she had been through. The police are now looking for this guy. This is the third, count them, third Muslim teacher that has sexually assaulted a child. The third one we've talked about in the last 3 weeks. You see, it's okay in Islam to rape children. Okay, it might tick off your boss if you're training his kids. But Muhammad himself married a girl as she was 6. Now, supposedly he didn't have sex with her till she was 9. But they are told to emulate Muhammad in every way. So molesting children is acceptable. They don't even see it as wrong. This guy panicked because it was his boss's children, and that's probably going to be a job-ending deal. But for Muslims, children are perfectly legal to marry and have sex with. France, the number of Islamic State recruits has doubled this year. They have determined now that the terror group has now recruited 1,200 people from France to Syria to fight and behead both Muslims and non-Muslims. The French Interior Minister, Bernard Cazeneuve, I butchered the name. If he wanted me to pronounce it right, he would have had an English name, folks. French names, that's another story. The French Interior Minister Bernard stated that the country's security forces have busted 13 recruitment cells affiliated with ISIS. Elite and anti-terror police units descended around a dozen targets, mostly in the southern region of Toulouse and also around Paris. Dismantling organized jihadist networks is a top priority for police, in perfect coordination with judicial authorities. Well, they're becoming swamped. If you go online and Google pictures of Paris, Google pictures of Marseille, you can't even drive a car down the streets because they've got whole streets blocked off so they can lay out prayer rugs. Islam is the number 2 religion in France, my friends. Did you know that? No longer is it French and then English. It's French and then Arabic. And the many dialects thereof, I'm sure. But go online and Google Islam in France. You don't want this happening here. There are whole neighborhoods, large neighborhoods, that are virtual slums. They're 100% Islam. And crime is rampant. And there are areas where the police can't and just won't go. And we're starting to see some of those areas here in America. We've got to shut it down. The crime has to be stopped. Lock the criminals up. Send the criminals home. And that will thin out the numbers greatly.